In many cases, when you're working on a portrait image and your subject has makeup on, you may not necessarily like that makeup. This image is a perfect example. While the application of the model's eyeshadow is great, the color doesn't necessarily evoke the mood that I'm looking for. She also doesn't have any color on her lips, and I want to be able to match these two together and change her makeup. Inside the Perfect Photo Suite, you can actually do just that. I took this photo where I didn't like the pink magenta makeup, and I changed it into a bright purple instead. There are a couple of very easy steps that you can take inside of the Perfect Photo Suite to actually add makeup to a model or change the color of the makeup that you may not necessarily like. I'll go ahead and jump into Perfect Effects and show you how to do this. Once you have your image open inside Perfect Effects, on the right-hand side of the screen in the Filter Options pane, open up the Filter drop-down menu. I'm going to scroll up and select Photo Filter. This is what we're going to use to choose the color that will apply to the new makeup areas of our image. We need to choose our color. In the middle of the Filter Options pane, you'll see a small color swatch. Right now, it's applying a blue cooling filter to our image, but we want to click inside that swatch and choose a new color. In this dialog box, I have it set so that I can choose my color using HSB sliders. First, I need to select the hue of the color. Then I need to choose the saturation of my color, as well as the brightness of the color. For this, I want to make sure my brightness is all the way up. Also, as I'm adjusting the color, you'll see that the overlay on the image is changing a little bit. However, we're not getting the result that we want just yet. So as you choose your color, pay attention to the swatch at the top of your Select Color dialog box. This is going to be the color that will be applied to our makeup eventually after we make a couple of other changes. I'll go ahead and click OK. And then back in the Filter Options pane, I want to adjust the strength. We need to intensify this purple to make it even brighter and stronger. So I'll move the strength slider over to the right. And then down at the bottom, the last thing that we need to change is our mode. This is how the photo filter is blending into our image. Opening up the mode drop-down menu, you've got 4 different options. Clean shadows isn't exactly giving us the look that we're going for, so we'll go ahead and try the other 3. We'll select strong. This is much better. We'll try subtle. This is a little bit less intense than the strong version. And then the one that I typically use is clean highlights. This is one of the best for applying a new color to areas like lips, eyes, and cheeks. The last option that I find extremely useful in the photo filter pane is the polarizer. It's a great way to simulate a polarizer filter and can increase contrast and help maintain some of the natural tones underneath our new filter. By moving it over to the right, you're not going to notice a huge difference, but it will make a very large one in the end. Now we need to go through and select which parts of our image we want to apply the color to. As you can see, it's universal across the entire photo, and that's not what we're going for. So up in the top left-hand corner of your preview, you're going to select your masking brush tool. Now the first thing that we need to do is up in the top right-hand corner of the tool options bar. We want to click the invert button. By doing so, it inverts the mask, so now, instead of having to paint out that purple over 90% of our image, we only have to paint it in very intricately on the small spots that we want. Also, before we paint in our color, I want to make sure that my perfect brush or edge detection brush has been checked. This will help me get a more specific mask so that I don't have to be quite as exact. Then, go ahead and zoom in a little bit so I can get a closer look at the parts of the image. We're going to apply the purple too, and then I'll just click and drag. Now with that perfect brush selected, it does such a good job of getting in and around all of these little tiny crevices that I want to paint this purple on. We can choose which areas of our photo we want it to be applied to, whether it's just the lips, or whether I'd like to go up and also paint it on the eyes to change the eyeshadow color. We'll go through and just like the lips, we'll click and drag over the areas that we want to change. And then we'll do it on this side as well. Now as I go through, The perfect brush does a really, really great job of getting in and around the areas that I like. However, every once in a while you are going to make a mistake, or maybe the perfect brush doesn't do exactly what you're looking for. Jump up to the Tool Options bar on the left-hand side and you can adjust your mode. If you make any mistakes that you want to clean up, instead of painting in the color, we can open up this drop-down menu and select Paint Out. Then, if I accidentally went over the lines anywhere in the image, we can clean up those edges to make sure that it looks perfect so that our makeup doesn't get in areas that we don't want it to. The last thing that I like to do is zoom out so that I can take a look at my overall image. Every once in a while, after I apply a photo filter, I like to jump back to the filter options pane and with my new mask created, adjust the mode one more time. Clean highlights may not be my favorite, so I want to jump back and try the other two modes I liked, strong, which is just a little too intense for me and still much too pink, and subtle, which again isn't quite the purple color that I was looking for. So I'll jump back down to clean highlights, and from here I can adjust any other options that I like. What's also really wonderful about using this photo filter is, again, after you've created your mask, if you don't necessarily like the color that you choose, just open up that color swatch and jump into the Select Color dialog box again, and from here I can change the color. Let's say I want to make this just a little bit more blue and a little less pink. I'll take my hue slider, move it over to the left, and we'll get a bit more of a blue purple than a magenta purple. And once I'm done, I'll click OK. As you can see, it's extremely easy to go through and change the color of makeup that already exists, like we did on this girl's eyeshadow, or add in a color that may not already exist. This same technique can be used for applying blush that may not be there, applying highlighters or bronzers, and even changing the color of someone's fingernails. It's a very versatile tool, and you have lots of different options for making it work best for your image.